Hey guys, this is Tom Sullivan here with Real Talk Investing, and today we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic that we've seen a lot of conversation happening around over the past couple of months, and this has to do with cryptocurrency, specifically talking about Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, we have seen exponential growth since the September timeframe, going from about $10,000 all the way up to about $37,000 as we see today. So now what we want to do is take a good deep look at where this is going to go in the future and how things are going to play out. So in order for us to get a good understanding of where this could potentially go in the future, we got to start with the basics. So an introduction into cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? Well, a cryptocurrency is a digital currency that can be used to buy goods and services, and it is used online. So all transactions are done through the internet. And this provides a secure transaction space that does not require government interaction or banks or other institutions to be involved. So why is this important? And the reason for having a cryptocurrency creation or invention was to be able to make it where we could have transactions occur between person to person without having to bring another third party into those transactions as we see currently. And from this, we're able to now have these transactions, and through the use of the online technology and through other individuals involved in the cryptocurrency community, being able to verify that these exchanges take place, therefore creating an independent source to be able to have currency transacted between individual to individual. Now, the most common known coin right now is the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was the first one, the one that started this whole revolution. As you'll see, there's a lot of other alternate cryptocurrencies called altcoins, which we're going to go through a list just so you could see currently where each one is in their phase, when they came out, and where we see them going in the long term. But this is just to show how big this has become over the past 10 years and how much it has grown. Now, this chart that we're seeing here is just the beginning, as there are thousands and thousands of other coins out there now. But the big thing to look at is Bitcoin is leading the pack from a release date standpoint. So Bitcoin originally came out in 2008 and was worth essentially nothing. There was no one backing it, just a couple people with this idea. And over time, we have seen an idea that was worth less than a penny, few pennies, move up to now thousands and thousands of dollars. But that's not to go without seeing all these other types of platforms, other cryptocurrencies that are now following in its footsteps. As you look down this list here, the big one being Ethereum, which it's an Ether. And from there, we have seen in 2015 this was released, and now this one is starting to put some pressure on Bitcoin as an alternate currency that has become widely popular. But as we go down the list, Ripple's another popular one, Litecoin, and throughout this list are a lot of other coins that people have invested in, but there is still a lot of opportunity for these to prove their worth or to be able to grow to the scale of Bitcoin. And over time, most of these will not make it. So a majority of these coins will end up disappearing, being worthless. But I believe over time that a few of these will stand strong and become a form of currency that is widely used by all. So what is it about Bitcoin that makes it this overwhelming power that's now starting to put a lot of pressure, and a lot of people are looking to it as another source of financial security? And the reason behind it is that this coin was created in 2008 with the idea of creating a source to have transactions of currency without having either governments or banks behind it. It's essentially a decentralized digital currency, and this allows for distribution between a network of computers for individuals to pay one another or have transactions with one another. So what can be seen as an upside, or in some cases a downside with this, is that when you own Bitcoin, you strictly have access to your funds. You're the only one who has access to your wallet, so that way no one else knows what you have. No one else can get into that wallet to take your funds, take away your cryptocurrencies. But on the other side of that, if you lose access to it or lose some of your information, you will also get locked out of it, which we have seen all over the news as some people have lost access to their coins and have lost fortunes, some people over $200 million by getting locked out of their accounts. So it's very important that if you do transact with Bitcoin or get involved with Bitcoin, that you make sure you keep your information secured and have it accessible, so you don't run into one of these situations where you get locked out of being able to take advantage of the finances that you are saving. But now we'll get to the interesting part, and I know this is a lot of what people are focusing on, is where is Bitcoin currently and where do we see it going in the long term? Now, the short answer is nobody knows for sure. It's either potentially going to crash and not be seen as a potential source to transact financial currencies, or it could continue to grow as this is seen as a significant way to be able to effectively transfer different funds and be able to communicate and network with other individuals. But now taking a look at the numbers from today. So as of right at this moment, Bitcoin is sitting around 37,000 US dollars. And with that, with trading volume, and this is only through about half a day's trading volume, we almost have $53 billion being transacted. So this is between buying and selling, individuals moving funds back and forth into these cryptocurrencies. So it shows just how many people are interested in this and are buying into the thought of using these cryptocurrencies, whether just for a trading aspect or for using them for actual financial services in the future. Now, in the past 24 hours, what we've seen is about a 2% increase in Bitcoin, but you will see it's very volatile, numbers going up and down continuously, going up multiple percent, crashing down multiple percent. And this is where we're going to have to keep a very close eye on it, especially over these next few days, as we see if this trend will continue to the upside or if we'll start to see a downtrend after the big spike that we saw, and take some comparisons to what we saw in 2017 when we saw it go up to about $20,000, and then less than a year later it was down to $3,000. But with Bitcoin, the one main thing we got to keep in mind is this is the number one coin in the market. So the market cap is ranking number one. This is where the majority of investors are putting their money in. And this is going to be the area of focus. If Bitcoin can continue to grow, we will see a lot of the altcoins starting to follow behind. However, if Bitcoin starts to drop, you will see the others start to follow. And now, as I was saying, with Bitcoin being very volatile, numbers going up and down, this chart right here really shows that picture for us. So just starting down at January 12th, so we're talking about a week ago, we have seen drops of 4%, followed by the next day it raising almost 9%, and then another 4.5%, and then saw a couple days of it dropping down, dropping a total of about 9% after that. But now we're starting to see some increases over the past couple of days. So it just goes to show how quickly and how effectively it's either able to bounce back or also on the downside of that start to drop down. So it's something that really needs to be watched closely if you're trying to do some day trading scenarios. However, if you're looking at the bigger picture, more of a long-term look, it's better just to turn a blind eye, let it do its thing, and look at it a couple years down the line if you do not need to focus on those funds at this current moment. So where do people see this going overall? And what we have here is just some predictions that were put out from digital coins prices and what they're thinking this is going to do in the long term. So as we start to look further down the line, specifically in 2022, 2023, right now there are price targets of about $120,000. Now, some people will say that this is low, and they're expecting this number to go more than double that, up to about $250,000, $300,000. Now, where you think it falls on the spectrum, you have to do your own research on, as nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. But a lot of people, especially those deeply involved in the Bitcoin community, are thinking that this price is going to continue to rise, albeit there will be a couple of bumps in the road to get there and some corrections. But long term, the thought process is this will continue to rise up. And as you see with the charts, down below, these charts are now showing that continued increase. So right now, as we're sitting at about $40,000, expecting it to more than double before year's end, and then we'll continue to see that rise as we go into 2023. Now, will that be the case? Is that how everything's going to finish off? Nobody knows for sure. But the power of Bitcoin and what it can do if it is put into an effective community, an effective distribution, and people start to use it as more of a transactional piece as opposed to more of an investment store of wealth, I think there is the opportunity where it can grow to the prices that you see here, if not higher. But we still have a lot of things that we'll have to figure out over the next couple of years on, is it accepted by governments? What do banks and other institutions think of it? Are they going to accept it as a form of payment? If we start to see more of that, I expect the coin's price to continue to rise, but there is a lot more that needs to be watched in the long term. So just to sum up a little bit about this talk with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it is very interesting to see the different outcomes that may come over the next couple of years. But while I can't recommend what you want to do with your specific financial situation, I would say if you do have the availability to put some funds into it, so whether that's 1% to 5% of your portfolio, it may be worth the risk just because of the prospective growth that we could potentially see. Yes, it's always a risk that this may end up crashing down to zero and not be seen as a source for currencies to be able to be transacted. However, in the off chance that it is able to continue to grow and continue to be seen as a reliable way to transact, this number can continue to grow. So I definitely think it's worth all of you taking a chance, looking at it, seeing if this is something that fits in your portfolio, and then from there making a decision on whether or not you want to put a portion of your funds towards it. Myself, I am invested in it. I think there is definitely a lot of opportunity for growth in the long term. Yes, there may be bumps in the road. We may lose sometimes, but I think long term this is going to continue to grow and will be an effective way to not only store wealth, but be able to transact with other individuals and other institutions. So with that, everybody, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'm certainly interested in hearing some of your thoughts. Where do you think it's going to go next? Do you think that the price will continue to rise in the long term? Do you think that we're going to see it drop off and not be seen as an effective way of transacting wealth and transacting funds? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as I will be continuing to put out different videos, whether it's not just on cryptocurrency or going more into the stock market, or also on real estate as another passion of mine in an area of being able to diversify my wealth and be able to continually get income on a month-to-month basis. So thanks again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you next time.